After several months of disassociating, cooking with depression is back. I'm Jordan, but that doesn't matter because nothing matters. Today, we're making risotto. It sounds fancy and intimidating, but it's really quite simple. It just requires a little bit of love. This is just to show you the technique. Once you learn this, you can freestyle with different proteins and vegetables. Let's roll through the ingredients. We have butter, a yellow onion, carrots, asparagus, 2 cups of arborio rice, 5 cups of chicken stock like we made in our riveting first episode, and the shredded chicken that came from making said stock. I also like to finish it with goat cheese for tang and walnuts for crunch. This technique requires 2 burners, one to keep the stock just below a simmer, and another to cook the risotto and everything else. Side note before we get started, I already know there's some Redditor out there ready to correct me that
Actually, risotto isn't a rice, but rather a cooking technique where the starch is simmered and stirred.
yes, it is. Anyway, get the heat going underneath your chicken stock. While that's happening, prep your vegetables. You can use a box grater or a food processor will make quick work of the onion and most of the carrots. Save some of the bigger carrots and the asparagus for later. Get the butter foaming in a heavy bottom pot on the other burner to sweat the onions and carrots. You can let them get some color or not. You get to decide what you like. Then, in with the rice. And no, I didn't wash it. You can. Just adds an extra step in my opinion. Blast the rice for 2 to 3 minutes to toast it. Then, pour in some white wine. Let it evaporate and dissolve. Then add a ladle or 2 of your hot chicken stock. Then you're going to stir and scrape the sides of the pot until the liquid is almost gone. This is going to be your life for the next 20 minutes or so throw on a playlist and get lost in the process. Yes, you absolutely could pour all of this stock in right now. Stir it every 5 minutes or so and make sure it doesn't scorch on the bottom. And you will end up with a perfectly cromulent chicken and rice dish. But it will not be risotto. Invest the time in this one. It's therapeutic to make and pays huge rewards flavor-wise. After about 20 minutes, give the rice a taste. It's not going to be done yet, but you'll get a sense of where you're headed. The center of the rice will still be chalky, but you'll be able to see if you need to correct for any seasoning at this point. Add more stock and stir. Then, take the separated carrots from earlier and cut into bite-sized pieces. Throw them in. The idea now is that if you add them, they're still going to have some crunch, but the rice will be done. After about 6 to 8 more minutes, taste it again. The rice should be getting closer to al dente. At this point, you can add the bottom portions of your asparagus. Keep adding stock, stirring, and simmering away. Keep adding stock, stirring, and simmering away. Give it another 3 to 5 minutes. It should be close. The entire process takes between 35 to 45 minutes depending on how high your burner is, how much rice you're using, and how much stock, etc., etc. Turn off the heat. Add the tips of the asparagus and the cooked shredded chicken. The residual heat's going to warm all that through. Plate it on a large, flat surface and top with the goat cheese and crushed walnuts. And fresh basil if you move like that. Risotto requires a bit of patience, but once it's made, you can coast on the leftovers for multiple days. That's why it's best to make a large portion. If you're going to make the effort, make it worth it. Here's the part where I get on my hands and knees, cry, throw up, and wet myself asking you to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Was it good? Tell me. Tell me I'm good. Say I'm good. That's all for this episode. I hope today is better than your yesterday and tomorrow is even better.